Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and we have another part of our new series here, Does It Suck? And what I found was another laptop under $500. In fact, this one is $360 or a little bit less over at Amazon. We're talking about the Chuwi FreeBook 360 N100. And yes, this is the bigger brother of the Chuwi MiniBook X that we took a look at. That, of course, had a 10.51-inch display, a really great mini laptop for the price. So not much more, maybe $10 more, maybe a little bit less. You're going to get a 13.5-inch display. This is a 3:2 aspect ratio. High-res display, by the way, has pen support. Yes, it does support the Microsoft Pen protocol. We'll talk about that. Got a really nice keyboard, a decent touchpad, and overall great design. It's pretty much all metal, although this may not be metal on here, but everything else is metal. At this price point, I was blown away on what exactly you're getting here. So let's delve into it and why I think the Chuwi FreeBook 360-degree N100 convertible laptop actually doesn't suck. So let's get into it right now. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is the Chuwi FreeBook N100 here for 2024. Coming up. Now, before we delve into the unit itself, I just want to let everyone know, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, I'm not being paid by Chuwi. I'm not being sponsored by Chuwi. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Chuwi is not getting copy approval. That means they're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. Now, this unit was purchased with my own money. This is not a review unit provided by Chuwi. Now, you could pick up the FreeBook over at Amazon for $358.99, and that to me is a great deal because you're getting a really nice display here, 2256 by 1504. It's a 3:2 aspect ratio, 13.5 inches, 12 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM according to that, but I think it's LPDDR4, I'm not sure, but you do get 12 gigabytes of memory, 512 gigabytes of SSD storage, and it comes in this space gray color, and it looks pretty good. It's a pretty nice overall laptop convertible, and of course it does have even pen support. We'll get into that and more in this review. You know the drill, folks. Let's get this out of the box. Okay, so pretty much plain packaging as we saw with the MiniBook X from Chuwi, that N100 version. And then, of course, here we get our power charger, 36-watt power charger. It's USB Type-C. We've seen this one before, so I think this might even be very similar to the one we saw on the MiniBook X. And then, of course, we get the unit itself here. And the design language is very similar to that of the Chuwi MiniBook X, although there is some Chuwi branding etched into the lid here. And right away, you can see the build quality is actually really good for about $350. This FreeBook is actually better than I expected. Now, let's take a look at the size, of course, that we saw with the Chuwi MiniBook X here. And of course, this one is a lot smaller. You can see it here. So the MiniBook X is a much smaller footprint. Of course, that's a 10.51-inch display. This is a 13.5-inch. This is a 16:10 aspect ratio. The FreeBook is a 3:2 aspect ratio. So you'll see the design language here very similar. Now, one thing I'm noticing is there's no scratch on the lid like I saw right out of the box on the MiniBook X, which was a little bit disappointed. But again, I bought it brand new, so bought it from Amazon, so I'm not expecting any scratches, and there's one right there. I don't know if you can see it here, but there is a scratch on the lid, and it's right there, and you can feel it there. It's actually, that was right out of the box. So quality control might be an issue for Chuwi, so we'll just have to keep our eye on that. But so far, everything's looking pretty good here, and I have no complaints. This is an all-metal lid on the bottom and an all-metal lid on the top. So let's do the useless test of the day. You could almost get it open. Nice solid hinge on there. Now, and again, there's that 3:2 aspect ratio, and you can see it here. I will say this. I got to tell you, for $350, this feels good. Now, one difference is this feels like plastic right here. The keys feel really good, but this is plastic. But the outer lid and the bottom cover is metal, so that's good. This might also be plastic, actually. So I think they're, you know, obviously, look, $350 a piece, around there. I think $360, $350, whatever it is. you really can't complain all that much. It's like the bigger brother and the little brother there. So pretty good, I think, overall build quality. There's a little give in the chassis. Nothing to be too concerned about. Really nice stiff hinge here. Obviously, this is a 360-degree convertible. Both of them are great key travel here. And I really liked it, and this was a really nice backlight on this. Let's give a listen to the keyboard here. So diving board style touchpad, pretty good. Nothing loose or anything. Good key travel, good feel on the keys. They're plastic keys, but they feel pretty good, actually. Good tactility and feedback. Looking pretty good in terms of that. And then, of course, edge-to-edge keyboard there. All right, let's get a measurement of the weight with just the unit alone. You're looking at 1.365 kilograms, and that is 3 pounds, 0.2 ounces. So just about 3 pounds. And then, of course, with the power charger, you're looking at a total of 1.522 kilograms, and that is 3 pounds, 5.7 ounces all in. That's your total travel weight. Not too bad. All right, let's get a look at the ports. And on the left side is a good sight to see, of course, a 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack, a USB Type-C port. I don't know what it supports. We'll have to figure all that out, but that is on the left side. And on the right side is your power button, and then next to that are two more USB Type-C ports, so a total of 3 on this, and I love the fact that they're split up. So you got 2 on the right, 1 on the left. That's more convenient. Missing is a USB-A port, HDMI. You don't get any of that, but we'll try to connect it to a monitor. We'll try to see if we can get any kind of drives working, docks, etc. So again, $350 or so, a pretty good bargain, pretty good metal design here for the most part, and pretty good solid build. So looking forward to testing this one out, no doubt about it. Now, let's take a look at the display, and it's a good one here. It's an IPS display. Don't expect OLED at this price point, but you do get a 13.5-inch display. It's 2256 by 1504, and yes, that is a 3:2 aspect ratio, so you're going to see a lot more on the display. You'll do less scrolling when it comes to web browsing and doing work, spreadsheets, and the like. Now, here's what's really interesting here. Their brightness here is 417 nits, which is really above whatever you're going to get in this price point. You're also getting really good coverage of the color gamut, considering you're only paying $360 or so. So that is pretty good. 100% sRGB, 75% Adobe RGB, 77% of the DCI-P3 color gamut, and 70% NTSC. That's not bad. And it's below the 2 that we like to see on a Delta E score, so it's pretty color accurate. It's also got really great contrast. I wasn't expecting that. Good black levels, good white point, and overall, really nice display. Now, you will notice the black bars on the top and the bottom. It is a 3:2 aspect ratio, so if you're watching a movie on Netflix or whatever that's been optimized for 16:9, you will have the black bars, but that's to be expected with a 3:2 aspect ratio. But overall, the display is surprisingly good. It is bright, like I said, and it's got a touch layer, right? And the pinch to zoom and navigating the OS with your finger worked really well. And guess what? It even has pen support, and it supports the Microsoft Pen Protocol 2.0, which is great. So if you're going to take some notes in a classroom or in a meeting, you can. And it's also great for sketching out artwork and diagrams. So this has been such a pleasant surprise at such a low price point that I'm really giddy about it in a sense, because you are getting a lot of bang for the buck, especially when it comes to this panel. Now, I didn't order the pen that Chuwi does sell, but I did use the pen that I have here in the studio. It's an HP Tilt pen that I had from my Spectre from last year, and it worked perfectly fine for taking notes, sketching an artwork, and all that. So if you want to get a pen that's not from Chuwi, you certainly have that option. There are plenty of options out there. And just to expand on the 3:2 aspect ratio, that means less scrolling when it comes to web browsing. It also means you'll see more when you're doing a spreadsheet and the like. And for those wondering just how much bigger the FreeBook's display is over its smaller sibling, the Chuwi MiniBook X, that has a 10.51-inch display with a 16:10 aspect ratio. Here we have a 13.5-inch display with a 3:2 aspect ratio. So you definitely see a difference there. Very similar design language. The FreeBook looks like a bigger version of the MiniBook X. Not a big surprise there. And because this is a convertible laptop, you have a lot of the modes you can put this into. Of course, using it in the laptop mode is great for getting work done. And that's the mode I use most of the time. And then, of course, you could put it into the tent mode. This is great for presentations and so forth in a meeting. And then, of course, consuming media on that is really great. And the same could be said for the stand or presentation mode, as I like to call it. And then, of course, you could put it into the tablet mode. Great for use with the pen. Now, of course, keep in mind, at 3 pounds or so, you're going to have it a little bit heavy as a tablet, so it might get heavy in your hands after a while. But if you're going to use it on a desk or a table, it certainly worked out great with the pen. Now, unlike the Chuwi MiniBook X, which had a pretty decent camera, this is 720p, a 1 megapixel camera here. And 720p, you know what? For $350, I'm not going to ding them too hard here. Again, I've seen a lot more expensive laptops with worse webcams, and you're paying a whole lot more. So 720p, what do you think about the video quality? And what do you think about the audio quality? Let me know. Now, as we take a look at the internals here, you'll notice that single fan for cooling. We'll get into the thermal performance in a little bit. And you'll also notice that 38 watt-hour battery. We'll get into the battery life later on as well. Now, what is upgradable is that M.2 NVMe SSD, and it has a 512 gigabyte SSD, and it is expandable or changed out by the user, so that's good. And as you can see, the reads and writes are okay. I think they're more Gen 3 speeds than they are Gen 4, but this certainly can be expanded out if you need more storage down the road. And like most laptops nowadays, the RAM is soldered into the motherboard, not upgradable by the user. And we're looking at 12 gigabytes of RAM. And I'm not sure if it's DDR4 or DDR5, but it's running at 4,000 megatransfers per second. And it is running in dual channel mode. And when it comes to the wireless, it's soldered into the motherboard, not upgradable by the user, and it's got a Wi-Fi Bluetooth combo card. We're looking at Wi-Fi 6 here, not Wi-Fi 6E, and certainly not Wi-Fi 7, but it was working fine. I had no issues with either the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth. Now, another pleasant surprise on this laptop is its keyboard. It has edge-to-edge keys, as you can see here. They're chiclet-style keys, and I was seeing about 1.5 millimeters of key travel, decent tactility. Overall feedback has been really good. I was able to type pretty accurately on it, and I never felt like my fingers were going to bottom out. Typing out documents, emails, and the like actually worked out pretty well. And the multi-stage backlight worked really well. Now, when it comes to the touchpad, it's nicely sized, but I would say it's okay as far as responsiveness, doing the scrolling and doing all the gestures. Everything worked as you'd expect, but it's nothing spectacular here. It's certainly not haptic or anything like that, but it gets the job done. Now, of course, you could always use a mouse with this, but it'll work if you need it, and that's all you can ask for, I guess. And just like the Chuwi MiniBook X we looked at, this is running the same processor, the Celeron N100, a 12th gen processor that was very capable. In fact, it's really good for everyday office tasks, Microsoft Office, email, web browsing. Everything worked fine. Even watching movies, Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, everything worked very well. Now, the graphics are integrated graphics. Obviously, it's not going to be as good as the Intel Arc graphics we see nowadays, but certainly can play some older games if you play with some of the settings. It's certainly possible, but don't expect to play AAA titles on their highest setting, and don't expect to do 4K video editing on this convertible laptop, not in the cards. Now, it does have a single fan for cooling, and when I did put it under heavy load, never getting overly hot. Where you place your fingers on the keyboard remained relatively cool, and on the underside, never getting overly hot. So if you want to place it on your lap, you will be able to have children down the road, so don't worry about it. A couple of hot spots on the side there, but nothing to be too alarmed at. And as far as the fan noise, very minimal. It was never very loud, even when you're pushing this under heavy load. Now, when it comes to battery life, it's actually pretty decent for this kind of laptop. Not the greatest battery life, but anywhere from 5 to 6 hours of mixed use I was able to get on this when you put it at about 40% screen brightness and put it in the balance mode. And video playback, 7 to 8 hours, which is not bad at all considering the size of the battery. So overall, battery life was pretty decent. Now, when it comes to the speakers, they're actually not bad. I think this has quad speakers, but I'll have to double check that. So initially sounding pretty good. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, let's give it a listen. All right, let's bring it all home. And to answer the question, does the Chuwi FreeBook 360-degree N100 actually suck? And the answer is no, it doesn't suck. And at a little less than $360, I think you're getting a steal here in a lot of ways, because you're getting a really nice display, 13.5 inches. It's a high-res display for this price point. It's also got pen support. Supports Microsoft Pen Protocol 2.0. And that means you can use a Surface Pen. You can use a really good quality pen with good pressure sensitivity and all that stuff. So you're going to have really good stuff here. It's got a very usable keyboard. It's got decent battery life for its size. It's got an upgradable SSD if you need storage expansion, and it's got a very affordable price, as I mentioned. But of course, at this price point, it's not going to be perfect. The RAM is not upgradable. I like the speakers, but it could use a little bit more bass, and it does have a 60 hertz refresh rate, but don't expect to get 120 here at this price point. No SD card reader. That would have been great. And no USB-A or HDMI and USB 4. I don't think you get any of that here. And again, just understand what you're getting here. But as a secondary device, or as someone who doesn't want to break the bank, this certainly gives you a lot of bang for the buck. And for that, this is a really good deal. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. And don't forget to check out my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew, and I'll see you in the next video.